Hey, this is the C&D channel. I'm Chris. This is Tony. This is MMA for you. You might notice my voice is a little strange because I was cheering so bad about Frankie Edgar beating Gray Maynard by KO. But we are doing our UFC 136 post-fight analysis. What are some just general thoughts you had on the card?
Honestly, I think this is probably one of the best cards of the entire year. I mean, maybe, like I said, maybe just coming fresh off the show, but it's really hard to think of a card as satisfying as this one.
I'll say this. It's one of the best main cards of the year. Not as an overall card, there's too many decisions to really say, and saw a couple boring fights. Not boring, but, lackluster fights. So really say it's the best.
You look at the entire card and there's a bunch of unanimous decisions, but it's you're not really fair saying, oh, it's a little boring, because even the friggin' what was it? Nam Fan fight was an amazing fight that went to the decision.
Yeah, but we can name other fights that were just kind of as well. Like I said, I think it was one of the best main cards as far as the overall from top to bottom. It was a great card. But the main card just stood out crazy. Okay, let's just go start with our thoughts about this. Frankie Edgar beat Gray Maynard in the fourth round.
4-round TKO.
That's the only knockout / TKO, so I'm guessing that's probably going to be knockout of the night. Yeah. Frankie, it was kind of a replica of their second fight, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. Gray Maynard was dominating, I guess more of a 10-9 round this time, but, and then Frankie Edgar, the next rounds, I think the movement, the use of combinations, and variety really confused Gray Maynard, who was throwing a lot of single punches.
Because Gray realized pretty soon he wasn't going to take Frankie down, so his only option was that big knockout punch.
Yeah, exactly. And the knockout punch of his choice was mainly that uppercut.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough to say where Maynard goes from here. I mean, he's still a top 5 lightweight.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
But there's going to have some rebuilding. He's having more fun fights, which is kind of nice. I think Frankie Edgar really took away the whole, Gray Maynard is a boring fighter thing now.
Yeah, I also think he signs a lot of his critics that, he's a very grinding champion in the sense that he's never really defeated anyone other than that submission victory.
Yeah, exactly. But Frankie Edgar, man, I think this might be his first TKO in the UFC. I'm not too sure, but as far as this is definitely his most emphatic finish. I mean, this is a guy that's not known to finish, and if he wants to fight, it looks like that Edgar was going to win on points up to that point.
Yeah, because if I'm Gray, I understood him taking a lot of those shots because I never figured Frankie Edgar for a guy with finishing power. So I figured, just eat a bunch of shots. It's not gonna finish me.
Yeah, but an uppercut, oddly enough, ironically.
Yeah. Just chipping away, I guess.
Yeah, chipped away because Maynard was taking a lot of power shots, and I guess it's just accumulation. As far as who Frankie Edgar gets next, like you suggested, probably Gilbert Melendez, or else the winner of Ben Henderson versus Clay Guida.
That's true. That fight's going to be on Fox, so there could be that temptation of the winner of that fight to go with an immediate title shot, just because you have all that exposure, and especially
if it's televised.
I guess. Well, like I said, 25. I can see why it wouldn't air. Yeah.
So great fight. I think Maynard can still fight some top 5 guys and build himself up. I think there is. Do you think there's intrigue and a fourth fight between them? I mean, down the line, not anytime soon.
Yeah, not anytime soon, or maybe not. Like I said, maybe not ever, because it's even though they're one apiece and they have that one draw, it's just he was beat decisively, and you'd have to really make a strong case for giving Gray another title shot. He'd really have to entirely clean the division before he gets another title shot.
Yep. Cool, man. Well, let's go on to the co-main event of the night. As Jose Aldo defended his belt against Kenny Florian. You said, why?
Yes, oh God, what a terrible performance by Jose Aldo. Again, We have yet to see an impressive performance from Jose Aldo in the UFC.
Yeah, true. I gotta admit, he seems to hold back a little more than what we've seen in the WC. Do you think that's because of level of competition, or what?
I think it's a combination of everything. I think I was one of the few people that actually didn't believe Jose when he said, well, I had a problem cutting, in his last fight with Mark Hominick, that's what I'm referring to. No, I had a sickness, and I had a problem cutting weight. No, I like I said, I generally don't believe, that I'm sick or anything. I think that's always a cop-out for losing or not performing as well as you do. I think, like you said, it's a combination of, the competition's a lot higher in the UFC, but then he also, because he's in the UFC too, he has a lot more to lose. So I think he's going to be more cautious. He's going to err on the side of caution as far as, doing more dynamic things.
Yeah, notice he's a lot more content with a counter-punching game.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, though, his accuracy and timing is still there. I mean, he was hitting Kenny Florian with some pretty flush shots many times in the fight. I think his hit percentage, he wasn't punching air a lot of times. You know what I mean? It makes me wonder how a Chad Mendes would do against Jose Aldo, too. If what Kenny Florian started with grinding him against a cage, if Chad Mendes can grind and complete that takedown.
Yeah, but then again, we've also seen him against, with the Uriah Fabers, and it's like, the man has very good takedown defense.
Yeah, the other thing is, you never know if Jose will be would he do more kicks in the next time around or not? He didn't do a lot of his trademark kicks.
Yeah, I think another reason for the bad performance tonight was just Kenny Florian was out there to win. He wasn't out there to put on a show, and he wasn't out there to, TKO the champ. He was there to win by points. So I guess I could kind of cut him some slack, but still, this is, when you're trying to build up both weight divisions, it's really hard to make a case for it when you have performances like this.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. That was actually one of the first things that came to my mind too. Was the featherweight division? Those two new divisions are getting a lot of flack, but they're not selling themselves either.
Yeah, because you figure of the two divisions coming in, that bantamweight's going to be harder to sell. Because freaking Jose Aldo, he's going to go out there and knock everybody out, and everyone's going to love him. But we have yet to see a decent performance out of him.
Yeah.
And this isn't even an Anderson Silva kind of stuff. It's a situation where he just one shot or just choosing not to finish his opponent. It's a combination of the competition's higher, but then it's also his competitors are also putting him in a position where they're looking to win as opposed to put on the show.
Yeah. So as far as Kenny Florian goes, I gotta wonder if he's gonna stay at 145. I think any title aspirant, and the guy's like 34, 35.
Yeah. Well, are there any good fights for him in the 145?
Yeah. Why not want Mark Hominick?
Yeah, I guess.
Jose Aldo is probably going to get Chad Mendes, and he's going to go up against an alpha male wrestler next, most likely. I'm very intrigued by that fight. The next fight after that, you should be happy about this. All hail Chael Sonnen beat the All-American Bandstand by an arm triangle. My personal thoughts is I was impressed with Sonnen. He was not content in staying in Stan's guard. He passed guard. He looked like he was trying to really get into dominant positions to finish the fight.
Yeah, as opposed to grinding out a 3-round decision.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I was sweating bullets whenever he was in that clinch, and especially when he was lying in Stan's guard. I just sweated bullets because I'm a huge Chael Sonnen fan. And just anytime he's in that guard, I get worried.
Yeah, he had nothing to worry about. He sliced his guard like butter.
Yeah.
He even got a finish, which is not very characteristic of Sonnen as of late, but it's good to see.
Well, if you watch the Chael Sonnen and Anderson Silva fight, he also almost got the arm triangle on him as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But it was a good one for him, and it really sets up that the rematch with the guy he says sucks, and Anderson Silva.
Yeah, and that money promo afterward, he pretty much just put his career on the line against Anderson Silva. That easily $1 million buy rate pay-per-view right there.
That was definitely Pro Wrestling 101, and Chael Sonnen has admitted to being a big fan of pro wrestling and a bigger fan of Roddy Piper, where he got advice from.
Yeah.
His mouth is definitely going to get him pretty far. And I'll say this, after this performance, even though I said that Stan's probably going to lose by wrestling because he's lost like Phil Davis and even Krzysztof Szynski on the ground, I do have to admit that Sonnen's style is troubling for the champ, Anderson Silva.
Yeah, especially if you can close that gap and push him against the cage like Yujin Okami attempted to do. And I don't think he's going to be as timid as Yujin Okami. I think I think Chael's really going to realize that even though he doesn't want to admit it, Anderson Silva's a very dangerous striker, and any second that they're standing up is dangerous for Chael.
Yeah. One thing that Chael said, I remember it was like on MMA Live, is, everyone allows Anderson to allow him to measure distance and collect data.
Yeah.
But when Chael fights him, he just goes straight at him.
Yeah, especially in the stand fight. He didn't waste a second. The second that bell rang, he ran straight up and got in Stan's face. And immediately clinched him. And that's what I was worried about too, because that's where Stan gets a lot of his big shots in, is when they go in for that.
Like the uppercuts
clinch.
In there?
Yeah, like the Lieben fight. I thought it was a foolish mistake on Chael's behalf, because it's like, that's going to be his bread and butter to try to get Chael in that clinch and unload on him with some uppercuts.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be really interesting just from a stylistic perspective. There really aren't a lot of guys in the UFC that are like Chael Sonnen. It's one thing to be like a great wrestler, but it's one thing to be aggressive with your wrestling like Chael Sonnen is.
Well, that's another funny thing I found interesting about what Chael said. He said if he beats Anderson, he'll force him to leave the division, which makes me think he'll try to force Anderson to the light heavyweight division, where you do have those elite level wrestlers. So maybe he's not even trying to just beat Anderson Silva, but he's trying to expose him, because maybe it's not enough just to beat him. Because, like I said, he can beat him, but Chael's also someone who's very susceptible to submissions. So maybe he just thinks Anderson as this maybe this paper champion, maybe someone who's yet to be exposed.
Yeah, well, yeah. I wouldn't call Anderson Silva a paper champion.
I know, but you look at Stan and Anderson Silva, I mean, that's a very striker, jiu-jitsu heavy division. And yeah, especially if I'm Stan and my weakness is wrestling, of course I'm going to go to middleweight, because light heavyweight is full of nothing but elite level wrestlers.
And there's Rashad, Bones,
Jim
of course.
Jones, Rampage, Dan Henderson.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if Rampage has good takedown defense, but his offensive wrestling hasn't been that great lately. And even Dan Henderson has been taken down by the likes of Jake Shields as of late.
Yeah.
But you do have guys like Rashad and Johnny Bones Jones, obviously.
Yeah, I think this fight, if anything, solidified Chael Sonnen's title shot. Because if anything, I've heard rumblings that if Dan Henderson was impressive with his Shogun performance, that they were going to thinking of maybe giving the title shot to Dan.
I heard that too.
Yeah.
But I think and people want the Sonnen fight.
Yeah,
very obvious.
I think maybe UFC could have wiggled out of it, but if it weren't for that interview after Chael Sonnen's fight, there's no doubt that that's the direction that they have to go.
Yeah.
To the degree Chael forced their hand.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised that it wasn't pretty unanimous though. That
because Chael's openly says he's a company man, but this is an incident where he puts himself ahead of the company.
Well, I think a lot of people were convinced that this was a title eliminator.
Well, like I said, if Stan had got there and ground out a decision, I don't think he would have got a title shot.
And then who would?
Then
who would?
Like I said, you could have gone with the winner of, or you could just give it to Hendo if he beat Shogun.
See, that's if. What if he doesn't beat him?
That's true.
Yeah. So you have to give it to the winner of this fight.
Yeah, I know, but if Stan wins, I don't know if you want to.
Well, who else is it?
Well, like I said, let's say in a theoretical world, Stan beats Sonnen, and Hendo beats Shogun.
Okay.
If I'm a promoter, I'm going to go with the Hendo before I go with Stan. Sure, I'll give Stan a title shot, but I'll give him the winner of Henderson versus Silva too.
Okay, yeah, in that respect, then yes, I probably would go there. But there's so many moving parts that have to happen in order, for that scenario to even happen.
Yeah, and I also think shooting for a Super Bowl date in February. I think that's a long time from now, especially. Well, it's 3-4 months. I guess it wouldn't be too bad.
No, it wouldn't be too bad at all.
No.
I think that makes a lot of sense actually, and Anderson said he'd be out for 2012, but I think he can. I think he'd be able to be good for that time.
Yeah, February. Yeah, I guess I just realized that the year's almost over.
Yeah. Okay, well, next fight after that, Nan Fan got his revenge as he beat Leonard Garcia by unanimous decision. And what we think is the fight of the night.
Easily fight of the night.
Mm-hmm.
And I dare say fight of the month.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not. Okay, maybe not the month. Of the last couple of UFCs, this is easily far and away the best fight.
Leonard Garcia can always pull these fun fights. I mean, you remember the Korean Zombie fight?
His fight with...
he puts on really fun fights. And a lot, there's sometimes you said it with the Beltran fight. Sometimes you just need these brawls.
Yeah.
The technique can go to Edgar or whoever,
Yeah, sometimes with UFC you get this idea that they're trying to win and, maybe putting on an entertaining fight is secondary.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I feel like UFC needs more fights like this. Guys that, maybe a Leonard Garcia who's never really going to be a title challenger, but who's always going to be competitive, just goes out there, just swings for the fences and puts on, easily fight of the night.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
I mean, you and all your friends, and tonight we were dying for a third fight.
Yeah.
Even though Nanfam is outclassed him in both fights. I mean, who wouldn't love to see another fight between them two?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm gonna be honest. I'd probably like to see someone like a George Roop get his revenge on Leonard Garcia for getting these crap calls. He was like, because Leonard Garcia gets a lot of decisions in his favor when he probably shouldn't.
That's proof with the first fight, Nanfam and Leonard Garcia.
Yeah, and even the Korean Zombie fight.
Yeah.
And then the George Roop fight also. I think Roop totally beat Garcia too, but the judges saw a draw somehow. So yeah, both Nanfam's a journeyman. He's a good fighter, but he's not anything. He's not the greatest. I love the guy. Leonard Garcia his role really is that featherweight that just gonna swing for the fences. If you get another striker with him, he's gonna have a fun fight with him. So, it's gonna be really interesting. It's not too interesting to see who these guys get next because they're such lower level guys for me personally.
On the featherweight totem pole, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, as far as the totem pole goes, but. Good one for Nam. I'm glad to see him get a win in the UFC.
Yeah.
Next fight after that, we saw Joe Lozon get a rear naked choke on Melvin Gillard. Gillard...
Who saw that coming?
Not many. I mean, here's the thing. Gillard has always had this weakness to submissions. Even I said he's been plugging the hole, but in this fight, he got tagged.
Yeah, I don't think the problem with the fight was him, like his submission defense. I think what was more telling was where he got rocked. I think that was more surprise than anything else.
Yeah, because Melvin Gillard has been looking great against his last competition and looked like a potential title.
An easy title contender. Yeah.
Title contender. And now, what's really interesting about this fight is Jim Miller's out of there now. Melvin Gillard's out of there now. So you only have Melendez and the winner of Ben Henderson versus Clay Guida, and then after that's probably the winner of like Seaver versus Cerrone.
Yeah.
So now the lightweight log jam is not getting so jammed up anymore.
Yeah, no one can string along enough wins to garner a title shot.
Yeah, exactly. With Joe Lozon, he wins some and he loses some though too. That's the weird thing with him. It's one of those things where with Joe, he looks great he always looks great in the first round, and he always looks bad in the next couple rounds and tends to lose after the first round. I hope he plugs in that hole. He won here in the first round. With Melvin, maybe he is getting a little too arrogant with his striking. I know he's really good at darting in and out, but this time, with his hands down.
He got sloppy and he got cocky, yeah.
Yeah, because he does it with his hands down.
Yeah, because if I'm Melvin Gillard, the last thing I expect is for Joe Lezon to drop me.
Yeah, exactly. Dropped him, and he got choked out. And now all that potential that a lot of people saw in Gillard, a lot of people are probably going to be like, yeah, potential wasted,
Now, this year has been the year of title contenders, losing their shot. I mean, you went from just like we're gonna go into right after this, Anthony Pettis. You had Joe Staropoulos. You had Ben Henderson. Going to the Anthony Pettis fight, it looked like an easy fight for him. And now Evan Dunham, and now with Melvin Gillard, you're just having title contenders dropping left and right.
Yeah, exactly. Goes to show how strong the lightweight division is, though.
Yeah, and any given night, I guess anyone could win.
So on the Spike prelims, Damian Maia beat Jorge Santiago. Not much to really say about it. He kind of grinded to win.
Yeah, I kind of agree. This may have been the best main card of the year, but some of the preliminaries, like especially this one, was just a battle of the viewer versus patience, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Jorge Santiago, this is his second loss in a round of UFC. They need to give him easier competition if they decide to keep him. If not, he might get cut.
Yeah.
Damian Maia, it's really tough to say. He lost to Anderson pretty decisively. I think he should cut to welterweight, to be perfectly honest.
That wouldn't be the world's worst thing.
He already lost to a champ. Here's the thing, though. Damian Maia and Chael Sonnen, though, I mean, stylistically, Maia has already beaten Sonnen.
Yeah.
And Sonnen's game of takedown, what are you going to do? Take down the amazing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt?
Yeah, exactly.
That is super good on his back. He's kind of poison for someone like a Sonnen and a couple other fighters in the division, so it's kind of weird.
But that's the thing, Maia is also going to string enough title wins to garner a title shot.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like Forrest Griffin and Shogun. Yeah, Forrest Griffin's beating Shogun, but he hasn't beaten enough people to where he's ever get a title shot.
Are you talking about Shogun beating Forrest Griffin in their second fight?
I'm just talking in the alternate. Well, not in the alternate universe. A year, some while ago before they had rematched.
Oh.
I'm just saying a scenario where someone who can clearly beat the champion but won't get a title shot because they haven't got those wins yet.
Okay, because Forrest Griffin actually got his tail up by beating Shogun.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyways, next round after that, Anthony Showtime Pettis beat Jeremy Stevens by a split decision.
Whew.
Close fight. A lot of it went down to wrestling, really.
It was still a good fight, but considering Anthony Pettis came out of WC with all this fanfare with that huge Showtime kick, this was kind of a disappointment.
Yeah.
This is a guy who UFC was battling between Gray Maynard and Anthony Pettis who would get the next title shot. And I just kept saying during the fight, there was a time and place where Anthony Pettis was considered a top contender.
Yeah, exactly.
And he went pretty much toe-to-toe with Jeremy Stevens.
Yeah, exactly. And Jeremy Stevens has always been kind of around the mid, and guys improving, but kind of like in the mid-tier of the lightweight division.
That's why I'm sort of hesitant of giving Gilbert Melendez the next title shot.
Yeah, that's true. One thing with Melendez, though, he has beaten guys like the Aokis, the Kawajiris, Thompson. I mean, he has fought some legitimately good guys outside the organization. Mm-hmm. And skill set wise, he does have that wrestling, whereas Pettis doesn't really have that wrestling. Mm. That's the thing, and he showed it too. And he showed some really heavy hands as well. He's knocked out a good amount of guys. Mm. That's why I see a lot of differences with someone like a Melendez, who's coming from another organization to the UFC and a possible instant title shot, versus Pettis, who fought in the UFC's sister organization, who's more or less splitting the lightweight division. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. The good lightweights are in the UFC, and like the other lightweights are in the WEC. There's some good ones there, but otherwise, it's not like they're getting all of the best guys.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But, Pettis, he's just got to climb the ladder, though. He's shown a well-rounded game.
I just think from a promotional booking standpoint, I think you want to give Pettis, like I said, he's clearly not anytime going to garner a title shot. So I just say go out there and give him fun fights. Give him the Dennis Sievers, give him the Melvin Gillards, give him the Joe Lazons of the world, where he can go out there and just put on a striking showcase.
Yeah, I really think that Pettis should probably fight like an Edson Barboza, who just came out of a win over Ross Pearson in a very entertaining stand-up bout. That'd be really cool. But yeah, Gillard, Lozon would be pretty cool because he's coming out. I'd like to give Pettis someone coming off a win.
Yeah. Interesting fact, Anthony Pettis looked really small in this fight.
He did. He looked really thin for some reason.
Do you think maybe he's considering maybe a drop down to featherweight?
You know what? He looked drained as a lightweight though, so it's tough to say if it's healthy for him. You know, he doesn't seem like the biggest lightweight though. He's not small by any means, but he's not big either.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough to say if he can make the cut and be comfortable there. I think he should. You should. You know, there's always advantages in cutting down. You know, but he's winning too. You know, he finally came off a win in lightweight. Maybe he's kind of thinking, hey, I won against a decent enough guy. Mm-hmm. Maybe I can do well in this division.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, the next 4 fights are
I'm just thinking Leonard Garcia versus Anthony Pettis would be an awesome fight.
That would be pretty fun, actually.
Easily fight of the year right there.
Yeah, I'm just going to read off results for these last 4 fights because they're all lower tier guys. Stipe Miocic beat Joey Beltran by unanimous decision. Darren Elkins beat Taekwon Zhang by unanimous decision. Aaron Simpson beat Eric Schaefer, who was a punching bag in their fight, by unanimous decision. Mike Mazzendio came back after losing the first round and beating the robot Steve Cantwell in the stand-up, also by decision. The only things I gotta say as far as those fights, Zhang looked really bad on his back. Stipe actually looks like a potential, you know, he could move up the heavyweight ladder. He has the wrestling and striking. Needs to work on his cardio, though, like many heavyweights, though. You know what I mean? Come on. Elkins, I'm not a big fan of the guy, but he had a good win over Zhang, who kept trying to for these like high-risk guillotines for some reason. He was actually successfully stuffing takedowns, but decided to just guillotine the guy. Really bad strategy there. Simpson actually looked really good against Schaefer.
Amazing fight.
Yeah, he just beating him up bad. His hands look good. You know, he's lost to guys like Chris Lieben, but maybe he can get back up there.
A lot of people do.
Yeah. And Mazzendio, I think he's more of just like a lower tier type of middleweight. Good win for him. I thought he'd win by wrestling, but he won with stand-up. Any other comments you got to say about this card?
No. Like I said, there were a few duds, but I feel like this was a very solid show.
Oh, it was. It was very solid. Especially that main card. Awesome stuff, man. Okay. And that's pretty much it for this UFC 136 post-fight analysis. If you have any comments, just leave them below. That's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.